Thank you so much, Helen. And I would like to start by just thanking not just Helen, but Amy Davidson and Chris Brown and the entirety of the Climate Group team for this great convening. Climate Group, I think, serves a lot of different functions in our lives. For us, they've been a phenomenal partner. I think for all of us, they challenge us through campaigns like RE100 and EV100. They inspire us by convenings like this in the Hub, which I hope you'll join us in tomorrow, but convenings across the course of the year. And really importantly, they bring us together to challenge each other and inspire each other. Because if we don't do that, we will not be able to address this critical climate challenge. And I won't go into the challenge. I think it's been well articulated by all of the previous speakers, but it is urgent, and it is the most significant challenge that we face as a society. So we usually use our time at Bank of America when we come on this stage to announce a new initiative or to announce commitments. It was on this stage that we announced that we were going 100% renewable electricity under the leadership, actually, of a whole bunch of people that we have in the room here, Beth Wattias and Mark O'Grady and Nick Barnes. It was on this stage that we announced that we would join EV100 and that we would put electric vehicle infrastructure at all our largest locations. But I'm going to actually use this time a little differently today. I'm not going to announce a new commitment. I'm going to try and put color around a commitment that we already have. So many of you may know, as a financial institution, our commitments tend to be around financing, around trying to help address the multi-trillion-dollar gap that we have in getting to a low-carbon, sustainable economy. So we are in the waning days of our $125 billion by 2025 commitment. In fact, I don't have third quarter numbers. Maybe we have met it, but we will most certainly meet it by the end of the year. So earlier this year, our CEO, Brian Moynihan, very ambitiously started our climate decade with a new, very ambitious $300 billion commitment to address climate by 2030. And I thought, rather than talking about these big numbers, which are really hard to bring to life, that I would try and bring a little color through some examples. Actually, Costa Rican President Alvarado said earlier this great quote about bringing the message to the people, not just the message of urgency, but the message of how we need to re-envision the world. So just two examples that I kind of love. One is Repowering London. I don't know who's familiar with Repowering London. It is this upstart organization founded by Agamemnon Otero, and he had this vision. So we're a bank. We obviously bank a lot of low-income areas. If you work with low-income people, you know that they can spend up to 25% of their income on electricity and energy. It is crippling for many households. And he saw this firsthand in communities across London, communities probably people in this room don't spend a lot of time in, like Hackney and Lambeth. And he actually went into those communities, formed a cooperative that is putting solar energy on the roofs of those residences, and in addition to addressing climate, is turning those ratepayers into shareholders. And they're reducing their electricity, their energy cost, by 40%, 50%. It will be as much as 70%. So in this beautiful little cooperative, he's helping to address what is a crippling issue, economic issue, for low-income households in these challenged, vulnerable communities while reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So it's one of my favorite examples. Now, they're serving about 3,000 people. That is small scale, but it is a project that could easily go large scale. On the other side of the equation, we're working with a client, Unify. This is a 50-year-old, this isn't an upstart, this is a 50-year-old company. This is a traditional textile manufacturer that made its heyday out of polyester in the 70s. Remember, I'm old enough to remember, polyester pantsuits in the 70s. So that was their traditional model. About 10 years ago, they realized how much waste was being left on the factory floor. So they said, oh, we're going to start recycling that waste into product. Wound up being pretty profitable for them. So they said, well, you know what? If we can recycle our waste into product, we could recycle a lot of people's waste into product. And now one of their main product lines is actually recycling plastics out of waste into furniture, into car parts, into the textiles we all wear today. So this is a traditional company that has totally reimagined itself the way all companies really do need to re-envision themselves in the low-carbon, sustainable economy. From upstarts, people who are really trying to break the mold, to traditional companies, this is how we will get to a low-carbon, sustainable economy that we all need. It's about re-envisioning the future. So I know my team would love to give a plug that we do actually have these stories in podcast form and a whole bunch of other stories about companies that are re-envisioning the way we need to work as a society. So feel free to go to the World to Come. But it's those types of stories that I think we need to start talking about more. In addition to focusing on the urgency, we need to also help people focus on the vision of how we can totally reimagine the future and get there today. So I, once again, really want to thank the Climate Group team for bringing us together, not just around initiatives, but around storytelling, and for all of your leadership over the many years. And welcome everybody to join us at the Hub tomorrow, which we are once again proud to be a sponsor of. Thank you very much.